Hey RV family, keep it tight. My name is Jay Morris, the review guy reviewing music for the love of music, and I'm back again to bring you another video. And in this one I'm going to be covering the new Grimes record entitled Miss Anthropocene. Grimes is a Canadian singer, songwriter, record producer, visual artist. She began releasing music independently in the late 2000s, got signed to Arpetus Records and released 2 albums there, but still remained in the underground. But after signing to the label 4AD and releasing her album Visions, her 3rd studio-length album in 2012, it's when she really began to rise to prominence. Claire Boucher was really beginning to make a name for herself beyond just the underground of electronic fans, and more so, was moving towards a career in the mainstream. Especially considering that a couple of the songs off of Visions really did get quite a bit of play. Her 4th studio-length album, Art Angels, was released in 2015, gained so much critical acclaim across the board. It was more of a hardened approach to synth-pop and dream-pop and general electronic music, as opposed to the influence that she was taking from many underground, niche subgenres of electronic music, whether you're talking about ethereal wave, dark pop, or even a little bit of witch house. And here we are, 5 years later with Miss Anthropocene. Whether it be her releasing the non-album single, which does appear on the deluxe version, We Appreciate Power, which was a hard-hitting track, an industrial track that got a lot of attention from a lot of people, whether it be her composing the theme for the Netflix TV series Hilda, whether it be her appearing on Poppy's Am I a Girl record, whether it be her appearing on Bring Me the Horizons record Amo on the track Nihilist Blues, whether it be her getting even more publicity for being in a relationship with Elon Musk. Grimes really is building her a profile. And compared to her past album, a lot of these singles that were released in anticipation for Miss Anthropocene were seemingly going back in a direction that were more roots-oriented to some of her first albums, as opposed to the very synth-laden album Art Angels. Whether you're talking about the thumping bass hits on the track Violence, which recalls Kim Petras' sound, especially what you got on her last full-length record, and even some of the production tactics that you get from the A.G. Cook PC music landscape. Or the very plucky, sad track Delete Forever, which just sounds like the end of the world. Sometimes her vocals are a little bit shaky on this track, a little bit vulnerable on this track. And the title really does correlate to the theme, which I will say is a little bit iffy when it comes to the overall construction of how it strings it all together. It is a reference to the feminine name Miss, combined with Anthropocene, which is the current geological era, which is basically what we call the current geological era, combined with misanthropy, which is a general disdain for something or an apathetic feeling, holding something in contempt. And the album is a loose concept album about an anthropomorphic goddess of climate change, which is inspired by Roman mythology and villainy. And there are genuinely parts of this record that I do enjoy more than what you got off of Art Angels. Overall, the record does read like a more macabre take on the themes that were on Art Angels, combined with the witch house and ethereal wave, and some nu metal influences from her original sound, all to create a gloomier, darker, more forlorn atmosphere that comes off a lot more demented, if not dejected. And on the Art Mix track, My Name is Dark, which was one of the singles released in anticipation for this record, it gets so layered, it gets so thick and claustrophobic as it progresses, with this electronic rock instrumentation just becoming more and more asphyxiating as it progresses. Many of these tracks play out like they are a vibe to chill to, but the instrumentation does simultaneously sound quite meticulous and well made, and the production is very lavish. Whether it be the odd vocal manipulations and vocal effects that Claire has on her vocals, or just the overall layering of the instrumentation, the progressions on this album are handled extremely well. So much so that on tracks like My Name is Dark or the over 7-minute long track Idoru, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, maybe incorrectly, I don't mind the long links. I don't think that it overstays its welcome. Especially considering how she employs ambience into her sound, which really is that ethereal wave and that dream pop influence coming in fully fledged. And when you get her vocals over it, they take the forefront, and the instrumental almost serves as just this backdrop to what's going on. And I will say I do a lot of times prefer the more low-key ambient tracks such as New Gods, as opposed to tracks like Violence, which take just more of a frontward, blunt approach. Or even a track like Delete Forever with its plucked instrumentation and its somber feeling. It sounds sorrowful, it sounds hopeful, and her vocal inflections throughout the track just give it so much personality and so much flair that she doesn't even need to keep a solid pitch in one location or another because she just sounds haunting. She sounds like this ghost that is just howling from the afterlife, just sitting on top of her tombstone and looking out on the world that is still existing just without her. Now on to a couple of my gripes for the record. Cohesively, I'm not so sure that the concept is handled all too well or in a cohesive way. It takes the whole term loose concept album to a new level. It puts the loose in loose. It puts the loose in loose concept album. Because many of these tracks just feel like they're their own identity, which is perfectly fine. And speaking of loose concept album, I think as a whole the musical palette, while it is diverse on this record, doesn't feel that cohesive either. I mean, from track to track you're swapping between all these different ideas of bubblegum bass inspired music to nu metal influenced music to ethereal wave, dark wave, goth wave, goth pop, dream pop. It just feels very surreal to listen to, and more so makes it like a collection of tracks, more of a compilation type sounding record as opposed to just a solid record from start to finish that can be enjoyed as that. There are a couple of tracks on this record as well that I feel like are a little bit underwritten. 4am is a good example of that. It honestly just feels like ambience to be ambience with its thumping and with the howling vocals, and from an instrumental point of view, not as expansive as the other tracks are. And as a whole, some of the tracks do feel like they are just being very vibey and very chill wave inspired, which is fine. I enjoy that genre. And as a whole, I'm not sure if this is as explosive as Art Angels was from start to finish, where it just feels groundbreaking and it feels absolutely amazing from start to finish and breathtaking to listen to. This is more so the counterpart, the nice contrast, the very stark contrast, the sister album, if you will, to Art Angels, in the sense that it is much more bleak, it is much more low-key, it is much more dark. Art Angels was kind of like the oasis in the desert, and Miss Anthropocene is that desert. Overall, though, I was really impressed by the production on these tracks. I love how it sounds, I love how everything is completely audible and nothing swallows the mix. From a production standpoint, it does sound very solid. The only thing I guess I could say is I think Claire's vocals are sometimes mixed so far in the background that it is hard to make out what she's doing, and not because I think that's a bad thing, but because I think it sells her short because she does have a lot of vocal talent. So to sometimes hear her not be in the forefront of these instrumentals that I think she could really take the forefront of, I would swap places with the instrumentation to have her be a bit louder and the instrumentation be a little bit softer. But still, I'm enjoying this record. I think it is very solid. I think Grimes did a good job of this. I think it's a good follow-up to Art Angels, a very different follow-up to Art Angels, and in the future I'm just curious to see what she's going to do with her material, and if she's going to continue in this direction or if she's going to go back to what she did on Art Angels or just do something new entirely. Either way, I'm here for it and I am excited. I'm going to be giving this album a 7 out of 10. And that is a wrap. Have you heard this new Grimes record, Miss Anthropocene? If you have, let me know in the comment section below what you thought about it. I would love to discuss the record with you. Maybe you felt different than I did. That is perfectly fine. Be sure to stay for the end screen and links to videos that you might be interested in. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to join the review family today. And smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is. My name is Jay Morris, the Review Guy. And I'm signing off saying farewell.